Hey guys, welcome to Buyers Club Live this Wednesday at noon. It's exciting to see so many faces. So thanks for jumping on here with us. Hopefully we have some Pace Morby fans or subject to experts in the group because he wants to do Q&A for most of the time that he's with us here. So for anybody that doesn't know Pace Morby, he's a nationally known creative finance, specifically subject to expert. That's his gig. He loves to talk about it. He's awesome at educating and communicating and just being entertaining. So he'll be on here in a few minutes. He texted us just a little while ago, said he'd be about 10-ish minutes late. So we got a few minutes before he jumps on. I do appreciate everybody joining with their video on. We got a few people that don't. So if you don't have your video on and you can, I'd love for you to turn it on. It just helps us. But if not, if you're driving or something, I totally understand. So let's, when Pace gets here, like I said, he wants to just do some Q&A. So don't be shy about asking him a question. But he said he'd be about 10 minutes. So let's just do, anybody got any wins or challenges or anything they want to shout out to before Pace gets on here? Open call. Anybody got anything?
Well, I got the gas on in my Southwest house, Suzanne, so that's a huge win. Yes. Everything
That's
is
a huge
good.
win. How many months has it taken?
Well, a long time. We won't go there.
But that is a massive win.
So
Has
Huge
the
win. Huge
neighbor
win for
finally
me.
let you do what you need to do?
Yep, the neighbor finally got us. We got in there. I've got pictures of them. It's awesome. It's so much better now. So yeah,
That
everything
is
is good.
awesome.
I just really appreciate FasterFunds rocks. Appreciate you guys.
Awesome courage to persevere with that one.
Thank
That
you.
is, you mind if we share a little bit of the story, Kaola, for
Sure,
people?
absolutely. Absolutely. So we bought a house over on Southwest Ave. It was a hoarder house situation. Come to find out, the gas hadn't been on in probably 7 or 8 years. I didn't know that. And so the construction team had to come today and figure out where the gas turnoff was because so much soil had built up over the years. So the shutoff for that. So they didn't know where it was. So that's what took, it took about 4 hours today, almost 4 hours for them to figure out where it was and everything like that. But hoarder situation, the neighbor on the other side of the building had there's a little bit of a walkway in between, I would say, maybe about a 2-foot by 15-foot area that's basically the neighbors, but it was wide open and rain had been coming in and taking out the foundation. And so the foundation was starting to deteriorate on our side, which was basically his property. He just wasn't, it was negligence. And so we just went in there and said, listen, I'll pay for it. I just need to get my guys in there. Well, he wanted to lawyer up and all these things. And I was like, man, I'm just trying to get this done. So that was a little bit of a delay, about 6 months, 7 months of delay just from that. So
Which what's crazy is this is a unique property in the fact that you've got like a vinyl sided 2-story house that's basically connected to a tiny brick ranch.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's super weird that the guy runs a jujitsu store out of, and Kaola did his due diligence and chat. I chatted with the neighbor. We both chatted with the neighbor, and the neighbor's like, cool, do whatever you need to do. It's all good.
Yep.
But
Well,
sometimes people are difficult.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, it's really wonderful having a lender that yeah, you know, I can call up and say, hey, you know, this is what the situation is, and you guys have been understanding, so I really appreciate it. So,
And you're gonna get all that dirt out of the basement.
yeah, well, the dirt's still there. We're gonna leave it there because it's holding up part of the foundation, or like kind of like doing its
I
thing.
guess it is
So
kind of stabilizing it. It's pushing it on the
so
other.
we're gonna let it be for now.
Yeah.
But that was a huge win. Gas is on.
Good win, Kaola. Anybody else got a win challenge? Anything they want to throw out?
I have a win. I successfully negotiated a loan modification to get the arrears put on the back of a loan from a subject to I just bought a couple months ago. So I didn't have to bring that $14,000 or whatever it was to catch up their loan. They put that on the back of the loan as a silent second, and we just continue making payments, and everybody's happy. Less money out of pocket and more in pocket. How we love that.
So what do you mean by a silent second? Are you making payments on this, or is
Good question. So yes, there's absolutely no payments on the silent second. They're actually just going to put that arrears balance fees, whatever junk fees they throw on it, on the back of the loan as a secondary lien that only has to be paid off in the event this property is sold, transferred, etc. So it's a silent second, truly no interest bearing. It's just sitting there silently until someday in the future, maybe 25 years from now. It will be over 25 years from now because the loan's about 28 years to go left on it. It'll sit there until the end of time, and we'll never pay it until that time.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Because a lot of people feel like you have to catch up the arrears when you get into this creative space. And I said, wait a minute, I'm not paying that. Let's see if we can do something else. So I reached
So
out
how
to the lender.
difficult was it to negotiate that?
It was actually quite easy, to be honest. It's just more so just communication. And I always recommend people to, reach out to the lender and ask them what programs are available, because they're not going to necessarily offer this to you unless you ask them what is available, what options are available to get this, fixed. And they just told me, hey, yeah, we do have a program. Just fill out these papers. We filled it out and signed it and got it notarized, sent it back. So those arrears are not my problem anymore. They'll be one day, but not right now out of pocket.
So there's a program out there for silent seconds. So all you had to do is find out about it and apply.
Exactly. Ask questions.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Congratulations. That sounds freaking awesome. I like it. I'm glad you're on here, Chris, because hopefully Pace is wanting good questions. So hopefully you probably got a question or two to ask him. So if anybody's on here that does any creative finance stuff and you got any questions along those lines, please ask Pace when he shows up. But any other wins or challenges? We'll throw him out until he gets here. Anybody got any house on the market right now? I'm always curious what the market's like. Anybody got anything listed right now or anything that went under contract to sell here recently?
I'm actually closing on one here tomorrow.
Nice. Tell us about it. Where's it at? What'd you list it for? How much activity did you get on it?
Let's see. So it's in Collinsville, Illinois. So on the Illinois side of St. Louis here. And let's see, we listed it, I think, for 169.9. And then we actually got an offer for 180. So it actually went above asking. Yeah. So it was pretty good. Got it off of a wholesaler. Had to put maybe 55. I think it was about 55,000 into the rehab. So all in all, it's going to turn out to be a pretty decent one for me.
Nice. Congratulations. It's also good to see some people that are doing it on the Illinois side, because I don't know very many, to be honest. Almost everybody I know is on the Missouri side. So good to know the Illinois side's doing well too.
Oh, the lower property taxes definitely helps on the Missouri side.
Yes, it does. And for me, it's just what I know too. I don't know anything about Illinois. So it's like there's a river over there and I just don't cross it. Unless I'm going to go visit Suzanne. That's the only reason I cross that river.
I'll tell you I live on the Illinois side, so it's a little bit more familiar for me. But what's interesting is that Illinois is a disclosure state. So you can go look up to see what every property was sold. You just go to realtor.com and you can do a lot of your own research as far as ARVs. It's a little bit harder on the Missouri side.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Yeah, Sam, you wanna talk about your deal pilot for a minute?
Yeah, we can. So we're launching a software that will be able to help run comps and help get MLX data. So we have noticed that there's there's DealMachine for driving for dollars, and there's PropStream to stack your lists, and then you want Privy or RE Simply for a CRM. So there's a lot of different softwares out there. And we have taken some time to kind of help partner with someone to create our own. So anyways, I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and I'll probably post it on the group as well. We're going to be offering a free trial, but it is a software that will allow you to get MLS access, has data on all 160 million houses in the US, It's got some AI involved in there as well that will help you predict if a house is going to sell before it sells. There's like 450 data points of like what they post on social media, what their credit card spending is like, do they have any liens on the properties, what subscriptions do they have, a lot of different things that will help portray if they're going to sell their house before it actually sells. And then there's like a CRM built in. Rehab Calculator has a Drive for Dollars app as well. So it's quite robust. It's almost too much to try to sell, but it's going to be something that I'm going to be launching. My students have access to it now. I'm going to be launching it to the public tomorrow at Buyers Club. And you all are going to get, if you're wanted, a 2-week free trial and then a discounted rate. It's my students and you guys will all get it for $87 a month if you want it, which again, all the softwares that come with it usually cost several hundred if you were to get all of them. So anyways, it's super exciting. And if you want to like spend a little bit of money to get deals, it's a good way to do it. Like there's like 59-cent postcards. So you can like skip a whole list, skip trace a list, or just stack a list together. And you can send 10 postcards for $5.90, which is pretty rare. Usually you have to do it in bulk and you don't. So anyways, if you're like struggling finding deals and willing to invest a little bit of money, I think it's going to be really, really, really good and beneficial for you. And to the public, it's going to be, I think we're thinking about $150 a month, but for my students and then for the Buyers Club's peeps, it's going to be $87 a month after the free trial. So if you want more deals, I would definitely suggest getting the free trial. So I'll post it on the group for those who can't attend, but tomorrow night I'll have the QR code up for you to start your free trial. So it should be pretty good. There's nothing out there quite like it currently. So
Nice.
So it's going to be pretty cool. Deal Pilot. So
Deal
the logo, it's a house with aviators on because it's a pilot, right? And then it's got a little bit of a Top Gun vibe to it. So you'll see. I'm particular to the logo, but that's me. It's not as cool as Two Fingers, but whatever. Pace. He's got a cool logo too.
That is pretty cool that you can brand Two Fingers, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we need to get the attorney general involved because I think there should be some lawsuit out for the peace sign. Peace has been around a long time, right, Pace?
That's right. I stole it from John Lennon, so he might sue me.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. Good to chat with you. I always love texting you and getting your little voice memos and collaborating with you. You're the freaking best.
They're big manly voice memos. They're not little voice memos. Come on.
Well, they're short. I should say short voice memos from a hairy man.
There you go. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. You getting your dates ready for November? Well, I'm flying out there, so we'll see you soon.
Yes. Sure am.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll let Brian do too. But yeah, obviously this is Pace. Most people know him. He's kind of like a celebrity. He will be giving autographs out afterwards. He's been on TV. He's a famous guy. He's got a couple thousand units and doesn't even really seem to care about it. He's more about helping people, which is why him and I have become pretty good friends recently. He's willing to help in any way possible. And just the few conversations we have with our hairy voice notes back and forth always seems to move the needle for me. And it helps me kind of learn a little bit more. So I appreciate you, Pace, and I'm excited for you to chat with the group.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it so much. I've been bothering Rachel and Suzanne for like the last couple of months. And I'm like, yo, how do we collaborate? How do we hang out? I had fun coming and hang out with you in St. Louis, Sam, but I had way more fun sitting there with Rachel. And I'm like, what mastermind y'all have? How can I be in this mastermind? I kept asking them. And they had to tell me, we don't have a mastermind. I think they have one. They just don't want me to join it. I think that's what it is.
Yes. So bothering them was a nice way to put it. You're annoying them, A, and then B, yes. I had to pull you away from Rachel's like, Pace, you're here for a podcast. You're here for a meetup. Leave Rachel alone and stop asking her questions.
We were having fun. So
I learned a lot. And like you girls are so gangster and what you're doing is so impressive. And I love the lending business so much. And maybe what I can do today is talk about some of the loans that I'm doing that are a little bit different than what Rachel and Suzanne do. And give you guys some value. You guys cool with that? Is that what you guys want? Do you guys want me to teach, present, or you want to do Q&A? What do you guys want to do?
Why don't you start by teaching for just a little bit, presenting for just a little bit, and then let's do Q&A. Does that sound all right, Pace?
Brian, have you ever seen me present and teach for a little bit?
That's possible.
All right, I'll go really quick. This is a high level group, so I'll go really fast. Hold on, I'm gonna refocus my camera. Give me a second.
You need to. Rachel, have the mute button. She'll mute you when you're done.
perfect.
Did we lose him?
He just decided to walk away. He was done
He's
with
gone.
us.
Thanks for those marathon Zooms. These things never end.
Sorry, I had to refocus my camera. I apologize.
Floor is yours, my man.
Okay, cool. So, guys, if you don't know me, my name is Pace Morby, and I am just a stupid blue collar dude that was a contractor for a long time and was lucky enough to get a mentor named Bethany that changed my life forever. She taught me how to do cash wholesale deals and generate leads. And I got addicted to going into the living room for the first 4 years of my business. And during that time frame, those 4 years, I got another mentor. Her name was Eileen Brown that taught me creative finance and taught me how to take the leads I was already creating and say, hey, how do you squeeze all the juice out of these lemons? And I got obsessed. I got so obsessed with sub 2 seller finance that I even created new methods of doing certain things. We call some of those like the Morby method or the dating contracts and all sorts of other things. And then I started getting into like creative lending and all sorts of weird things. Like today I sent out $1 million to a gentleman that's doing a pipeline project. And in 7 days, I'll get $350,000 back. I do all sorts of weird loans. And one of the weird loans that I do today are things that will help you guys that are real estate investors that are out there generating leads. Guys, in the side comments, if you guys don't mind, tell me who is generating leads in their business and who's working on foreclosures and stuff like that. If you're not, after what I teach you for the next 20 minutes, you're going to walk away going, dude, I need to start working like foreclosures. There's a lot more opportunity in there than I thought. So foreclosure lead generation, perfect. Chris Monroe, dope. Good to see you, Chris. Work in probate. Cool. I love probate. Oh my gosh. If you knew what I knew about probate, oh my gosh, that's a 2-hour class. Oh my, I love probate so much. Okay. Pre-foreclosures. Mark Elliott decided it was so secret. He didn't want anybody else to know. He sent me a direct message about it. Thanks, Mark Elliott. Appreciate it, bro. Okay. So let me tell you something kind of cool. So a couple of weeks ago, I welcomed 10 newbies into my home. I was like, all right, you know what a newbie really needs is a newbie needs what I needed. I just needed somebody to like show me the business. Don't tell me the business, show me the business. That's what I needed. And I was so impressed by Sam Prim's office and like everything you guys have going over there. I'm like, dude, what a great atmosphere and energy. Like you guys are, and I told you this to your face, Sam, not just behind your back. I say this behind your back too. I'm like, there's very few people that are influencers that are actually influencing properly and like creating an atmosphere and an incubator for people to come into and feel that vibration and go outside of it and succeed. Very few people, I could name them on one hand, maybe 3 fingers. And it's what everybody needs. Everybody needs in-person learning, which is cool. So about 2 weeks ago, I bring these 10 people into my home, and here's me. In this situation, I was calling myself their closer. I'm like, all I'm going to do is I'm going to close deals for you. That's all I'm going to do. And you guys are going to be the newbies. And I brought 10 people into my home. And I go, I'm going to teach you guys how to generate leads and just set up appointments for me to close deals. So what I did is they set in 5 days, they set 30 appointments for me. And out of 30 appointments, I had 30 calls. And out of those 30 calls, I ended up getting, kind of cool, 7 contracts. Okay, now 4 of these contracts were sub 2 deals. You guys know sub 2, so we don't need to talk about that so much today. 3 of these were really interesting lending opportunities. I'll cover a couple of them right now so you guys can see some opportunities that I think a lot of people are missing, okay? So when I go after these calls, I'm talking primarily to agents. So here's the list that we went after in this individual challenge. I taught these newbies. I said, all right, newbies, there are sellers that are on the market. Okay, here's seller represented by an agent. And these houses we're going to go after, we're going to say, Sam, you have software that you guys are using for like foreclosure. So what's the name of your software? It's Deal Pilot, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I go to Deal Pilot and I go, all right, cool. I'm going to use Deal Pilot to go find on-market properties, meaning they're represented by an agent, and I'm going to add a couple of filters. The first filter is I want 30 days plus on the market. Why? Because I don't want to bother a freaking real estate agent on day 1 of their listing. How dare I? Who the heck am I that I think I'm going to do some deal with an agent 1 day on the market? They don't want to deal with investors. They want to deal with a retail buyer. And if they can't find a buyer within 30 days, then it's appropriate for me to reach out and go, hey, notice the house hasn't sold for 30 days. Didn't want to bother you before that. Are your sellers interested in these types of offers, seller finance, sub 2, blah, 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 right? I don't say those words, but I'll tell you what I say. So 30 days on market is one filter that I really like because I don't want to bother them before that. Obviously, the bigger that number, the more pain they're going to be in. So sometimes during my business, when I want to slow down on my lead gen and I want to heighten the quality of my leads, I say 100 days plus on the market because we can agree that that means that agent has a lot more pain. They've been on the market for 100 days. If you're an agent, you know how horrible this feeling is. Cool. The other filter I use is I use a high equity filter if I want seller finance. Okay, if I want to go after seller finance, like 0% seller finance deals, I get a lot of 0% seller finance deals out of that list. And then if I want a sub 2 deal, I'm going to go after low equity. Okay, I just want to take over people's payments. So what I did with these newbies is I said, all right, newbies, I want sub 2 deals. I want seller finance deals. So what we're going to do is the goal is for you to set these appointments for me. And all I'm going to do is close. Cool. So we went after both lists. What I did is, this is my first mechanism. Once I have that list, we had a list, it was like 480 homes in Phoenix, Arizona that fit that criteria. What do? I use a software. This is not me promoting the software, but I use a software. I won't even tell you the name, but I use a software that blasts out LOIs. Okay, what's an LOI? An LOI is basically a fake offer. It's like not even a real offer. It's like a childish offer. It's a soft offer. It's like, it's not really even a contract. It's like, hey, I intend to potentially, maybe, possibly offer you this much money for this house. Okay, letter of intent is the way to say it. And my letter of intent always has a couple of different options on it. A, here's our cash offer, which they're always offended by. B, sub 2. C, seller finance, depending on the list that I'm reaching out to. D, we then will even offer like a partnership. Okay. Partnership meaning, hey, seller doesn't have enough money to renovate the house. Let me renovate the house. I'll come in. A lot of people in the business have started calling this a novation agreement about 10 years ago because that makes it fancier. But really, you're partnering with the seller to get their house sold. That's really what it is. Okay. If you're doing novations, and you're talking about it as a novation, it's because you're probably selling a novation course, and that's cool because novation courses are cool. I'm cool with courses. It's basically the way that you have to understand is a partnership with the seller. Okay. All right. Awesome. So here's what ends up happening. I talk to these agents and I get on the phone with an agent last week. Agent's name is Devonte. Okay. Devonte representing a seller named Joy. Okay. So here's Joy, and Joy hires Devonte to sell her house. Now the house, I know this, Devonte didn't know this, surprisingly. She owes $206,000 on the house. How do I find that out? Well, Deal Pilot will tell me. Then the other thing I know is that it's currently listed for $450,000. So what do we have here, guys? What's this thing? What do we call this? Equity, maybe? Or delta? Some people call it delta. The delta is the difference between what you owe and what the house is currently worth or listed for. Cool. So a lot of equity on this deal. Great. So I get to talking to Devonte, and I'm like, hey, it looks like you guys have just been listed a couple of weeks. How's it going? He goes, well, honestly, your offer, our cash offer, he's like, we might consider your cash offer. What was my cash offer in this transaction, guys? My cash offer on this transaction was $300,000. Why? Because welcome to flipping a freaking house, right? Suzanne and Rachel are going to charge me points and interest. I'm going to be paying lending fees. I've got construction. I got overages. I got a contractor says it's going to be 40 grand, but it's going to be 47 grand. I've got, my belief is that it's going to sell for 450, but it'll sell for 432, and it'll take 4 months longer to sell the house. And I thought it was welcome to fixing and flipping, right? All of the things. And so I offered $300,000. Devonte says we might take your offer. I also had a sub 2 offer in there. I also had a partnership offer in there. Okay. But I didn't end up doing any one of these three, not one of these three. On the cash offer, when I was talking to Devonte, Devonte says to me, he goes, we might take that cash offer. I was like, oh, why do you say might? He goes, well, I listed the property and I found out while I was listing the property, I found out that Joy was 13 months behind on her payments. She could lose the house at any moment. She's kicked the can down the road as many times as possible. I'm like, you didn't know this? He's like, no, she didn't tell me she was in foreclosure when she hired me. I had no clue. It wasn't until I pulled up the records and I was getting the listing ready. He's like, oh, dang, she's in foreclosure. I call her. She goes, yeah, I've extended. Now the trustee says they won't let me extend anymore. And I either have to file bankruptcy, which I don't want to do, or I just have to sell the house. And he's like, your auction date is set for like a week away, 2 weeks away. So if you're Devontae, what are you worried about, my friends? You're worried about your commissions, right? You're worried about potentially losing this opportunity. It takes a long time. I mean, you all know that the Devontae agents of the world are out there taking masterminds and going to seminars and doing all this kind of stuff to say, what's their main question? Their question is how to get more listings. So they're spending all this time, energy, and money to go and find more listings. Gosh, dang it, Devontae just gets a listing. And right when he gets the dang listing, Joey is 13 months behind. Okay, that kind of sucks, right? It kind of sucks for Devontae, kind of sucks for Joy. So he's sitting there like, I go, so what's going on? Tell me what's going on. He goes, well, I don't really quite understand your offer. I'd love to present it to my seller, but we're in a time crunch and I might just have to tell her 300,000 is the way to go. Now, guys, if I do a $300,000 deal on this property and I'm going to wholesale it or even flip it, flipping is fine, but this is an area I didn't want to flip. If I buy this at 300,000, what do you guys think I could make on this as a wholesale fee? Now, you guys are seasoned, experienced investors, so you're not going to tell me I'm going to make 50 grand on this assignment. You're probably smart enough to realize that I'm probably going to make about $15,000 on that assignment, and I got to leave the meat on the bone for the rest of the flipper. They're the person that needs to make the money. Otherwise, I'm just a piece of crap wholesaler that sends people bad deals to their email, and I stop people just block me and unsubscribe from my buyers list, right? Cool. So I know I could make 15 G's assigning this deal, but what ends up happening is Devontae says, hey, I don't really quite understand the sub 2 thing. Can we get on a call with my, he says, this is what he says, can you explain to me the sub 2 process? And I go, better yet, I'd rather just talk to your seller directly. You want to bring her on the Zoom? He's like, yeah, let me text her. Gets her, comes on the Zoom, and I'm talking to Joy now. Now I get to hear all the actual stories because no offense to agents, they don't know what the hell's going on, right? Mm-hmm. So the seller and I start talking. I'm on a Zoom with her. I'll give you guys the copy of this recording, by the way. I'll send it to Rachel and you guys can watch this Zoom. It's freaking gangster. So Devontae says, okay, well, you can present the offer. And I go through Joy and I go, Joy, let me tell you something. I think I understand what's going on in your life right now. I could give you a cash offer, Joy, but this is really a disservice to you. And the reason being is because you might like Devontae right now because he solves your problem and, gets the foreclosure taken care of and you get, $70,000 or whatever in your pocket. That might sound great, but you're also leaving $150,000 on the table. How are you going to feel in 2 months when you see me go and make a bunch of money on this house? You're going to feel good and happy about that? She's like, no, probably not. But I really need the money now and I need to get out of this situation. I'm like, tell me more. Why? What's going on in your world? Right? These are the things that agents don't ask. This is why real estate investors know what they're doing. Is they find the bunnies. This is why I have the peace sign. It's not really a peace sign. It's a bunny. It's bunny ears. It's to find the bunnies. Find the bunnies is a reference to my first deal I ever did. I helped a lady rehome her bunnies. And because I did that, she sold her house to me for 15 grand lower than any other offer. And it was like the greatest lesson I ever learned was like, if I find the bunnies, if I find the big emotional reason why they're stuck, then they'll sell the house to me. Right? Cool. So I'm always looking for the bunnies. So I'm sitting here looking for Joy's bunnies and I go, what's really going on here? So Joy says to me, she goes, well, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you. And I go, don't be embarrassed. I've done some stupid things in my life. What's going on in your life? And she says, Pace, I lose my job about 13 months ago. I get laid off. And about 2 weeks after I get laid off, I'm still confident. I've got savings. I've got a good job. I've got a good degree. I got all the confidence in the world. I'm feeling great. And I meet this guy on this dating app. This is a real story, and this happened 2 weeks ago. Somebody I told this story to yesterday was like, oh, that was not made up. No, this is not made up. This is all 100% true. So Joy says, I meet this guy in a dating app. A couple of days later, he's telling me about this trading app that he has and that he can double my money and this, that, and the other and blah, 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 blah. This lady gives this guy $120,000, all of her freaking money, all of it. By the way, if you're working foreclosures, you're like, I am not surprised. When you work foreclosures, you're basically a part-time therapist. That's what you are. You are dealing with all the stories, right? Casey, I'm sure you've done this. You're like, dude, every seller I talk to in foreclosures going through some crazy stuff, right? So I go, no problem. She's like, you don't think I'm stupid? I go, oh my gosh, Joy, how much time you got? Because I can tell you 1,000 stories. I've done stupider things than that. Like, welcome to the club. Don't worry about it. What's going on? So if that happened to you, that's probably why you started falling behind on your payments. She goes, that's why I fell behind my payments. I lost all my motivation. I lost everything. I went into this dark hole. I didn't have money. So I started living on my credit cards. I stopped making my payments. Now I get deeper in this like mental thing and da, 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 da. And then I go, and she goes, and it just got worse from there. And now here we are. And I go, yeah, but there's something else I'm missing. 13 months of not making payments. You're out of your savings. How are you doing with like your living expenses? Like, how are you surviving? These are questions that agents don't ask. This is finding the bunnies. I want to know where all the bunnies are. Open up the cage. Show me these bunnies. She says, well, I'm out of credit card stuff. I can't get any more credit cards. My credit is shot. And yesterday my car was repossessed because I haven't been making payments on my car. I go, got it. Then she starts crying and she says, I have 90 cents in my checking account right now. 90 cents. I'm a single woman. My parents are telling me to move back in. I'm feeling the worst I've ever felt my entire life. And I said, okay, so Joy, thank you for telling me this, because this highlights to me that you should not be taking this offer right here. You should not take my $300,000 offer. I have some better options for you. Now, you might not take them, but I'm going to tell you that this is your rebuild money. This is how you get back on your feet. How dare some cash investor come along and lowball you $300,000, understanding your situation? Let me help you out a level that nobody else is willing to help you. She goes, okay, so you don't want to make a cash offer? I go, I'll give you the $300,000 cash offer. I'm just saying I don't think it's the best solution. And I also don't think that the next thing, the sub 2 thing, I don't think that's the best solution for you either, because if I take over your $206,000 monthly payment, I'm not going to pay you your remaining equity for probably 5 to 7 years. I'm going to make sure that I make monthly payments to you towards that. She goes, okay, so what should we do? Is that we do the partnership thing? I go, hell no. Partnership ain't going to do shit for you. Here's why, Joy. You're going to get foreclosed on in 2 weeks. A novation is a waste of your time. You're going to go into this renovation phase and this, that, and the other, and it's a waste of your time. She's like, so what do we do? And I go, here's what we do. If I told you right now, Joy, if I told you that I could get you $40,000 loan to get you back on your feet while you're selling the house, what would that do for you? Now, if I'm Devontae, pay attention to this. This is how cool this is. Devontae, our agent, how does this benefit Devontae? One, he doesn't lose the listing, right? Doesn't lose the listing. Also, the listing that he currently has is no longer in foreclosure. Is that a benefit to him or not? Hell yeah, it is. Are you kidding me? Us real estate investors see a house is in foreclosure. It's like seeing a dented can of beans at the supermarket. Like, I'm going to offer 90 cents off. Give me that can of beans for 90 cents. I see there's a dent. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm removing the dent on this house, this damaged goods, and I'm taking it out of foreclosure. Does that benefit Devontae? Hell yeah, it does. Is Devontae going to want to do more deals with me? Hell yeah, he will. Cool. So I go, all right. What if I give you 40,000, Joy? I give you $20,000 for arrears. I get the house back in good standing. I then put $6,000 in escrow for the next 4 months of payments. So not only do we save your house from foreclosure, we get you back in good standing, we also make 4 months of payments and show on your credit report that you didn't sell the house in foreclosure. You sold the house after you caught up and made multiple months of payments. Does that serve Joy or not? Okay, this is why cash wholesalers are always going to lose when they go into an offer against me. You're always going to lose. I got more options. I got more clubs in my bag, baby. You're trying to play golf against Tiger Woods. I got all 15, 14 clubs in my bag. You got one putter. and you suck at it. So I'm going to beat you. I got more clubs to pull out of that bag, right? One of the clubs I'm pull out of the bag is this cool strategy. So I go, all right, I'll put $6,000 in escrow. Here's what else I'll do, Joy. I will choose a car and pay for insurance at $7,000. I'll put a budget. I will own this car. I will buy the car, and I will make sure that the car and the title goes into your name once this transaction goes through. But I will find a car, because guess what she's doing, guys? She's going to job interviews on a bus. How do you feel as a woman that got scammed by some piece of shit dirtbag guy, $120,000, and now you're going to job interviews on a bus? You feeling good about yourself? Hell no. Hell no, you're not. You're feeling everything in life is against you. And what's interesting is, like, I got into this business to help people, and so did everybody else on this call. But then I see all these cash investors like, I'll give you the $300,000. I'll get you out of foreclosure. It's like, okay, well, yeah, there's times when that's appropriate. Okay, but you took $150,000 of equity off her plate to give it to the fix and flipper. Okay, great. I know Rachel and Suzanne are like, yeah, let us do that loan. Hell yeah, we'll make some money on that too.
Mhm.
But the cash investor is only going to make the wholesaler is going to make 15 grand letting other people make money and taking out of this lady's pocket. Whereas I can make more money by doing what I'm doing and actually help the lady. So check this out. So I've got 20,000 arrears, 6,000 for escrow to make her 4 months of payments, right? Now I'm at $33,000. What I then do is I give another $7,000 in living expenses. Not only do I get her back on her feet, I give her like $2,000 a month from escrow as a distribution so she can pay for food, her cell phone, some gas in the car. She doesn't have to worry about the payments on the car. She doesn't have to worry about the insurance on the car. She doesn't have to worry about her house payment. She gets to go spend 3-4 months rebuilding herself without worrying about money. So here's the question. The $40,000, was she already going to have to catch up those arrears when she sold the house? Yes. Was she already going to have to go and make the next 3-4 months of payments? Yes. Was she already going to have to go get a car at some point when she got some cash in her pocket? Yes. Was she going to need those living expenses regardless whether I gave her this $40,000 or not? No, absolutely. She's going to have to pull it from somewhere, or else she's going to have to be homeless. So I didn't give her 40 grand to go blow on something she wasn't going to spend it on. So what I did is I said, Joy, this is how I'll do it. You've got a house, you owe 206. You've got to catch up those arrears, do all the things I just told you anyway. So you've got to come up with that $40,000 somehow, some way. Let me come up with that $40,000. The cool thing is you're going to go and sell this property. All right. You're going to go sell this property for let's say $430 to $450. I don't know, but it'll sell. I looked at the comps. It will sell for somewhere in that. You're going to have to take the 40 grand out of that. Right? You're going to have to take the $40,000 you owe me out of that. You're going to have to take what you owe to the bank, 206 out of that. And instead of getting screwed on the $150,000 that a wholesaler would take out of you, how about you just give me 20 grand? She's like, that's all? I go, yeah, that's all. Now we ended up settling on $18,000. So where do I get paid? I get paid off the sale of her home. So of course I put a lien on the home. I also had her sign over the deed. It's sitting at title. So if for some reason I need to take the house and go sell the house myself, I get the security. I have the deed. It's sitting at the title. But I'm making $18,000 on a deal that I would have otherwise made $15,000 on by giving her, go back up here, only giving her $300,000. It would have only made 15 grand. I would have taken all that money out of her equity. So here's the question I have for people. As we're out there doing cash offers and creative offers, and we're doing all these things, are there opportunities for people? Are there people in foreclosure right now that have a lot of equity? Hell yes. Are you kidding me? People that bought in 2017, 18, 19, that their houses have basically doubled through COVID, all that kind of stuff, that are now in bad situations. There's tech layoffs like crazy, layoffs all over the country like crazy. There are people right now that have half the value of their home is what they owe, and the other half is all in equity. They were trying to save themselves and stay in the house, that are sitting there going, I got a week, 2 weeks, 30 days until a foreclosure is happening. I just need more time to sell the house through an agent. Man alive, if I knew to do this When I first started in real estate 11 years ago, I would have probably done another 500 deals, because with foreclosure follow-ups, the people that are doing foreclosures, okay, every seller is trying to stay in the house. They don't want a cash offer. They don't want a sub-2 offer. They want to stay in the house, okay? They don't want to list the house with an agent. It's not until the week or the day before. Do you guys know where 70% of my foreclosure deals happen? The day before the auction. Every time. And I used to criticize these people and go, why would you wait? You're so dumb. What? I didn't say that to him, but I would think it. And then I got to be an adult and I got hair on my chest. At least on my face. And I grew up to be a man, and I go, dude, what's a better solution for these people? They want to stay in the house. They want some time. I'm not going to just let them stay in the house. I go, look, if you're going to sell the house, and we can make an agreement that says you're going to sell the house, and if you don't sell the house, I can take the house back over, protect myself. I'll give you some breathing room. And so what I do now is I go to people that are a week away from auction, and we provide cash offer, sub-2 offer, and then we provide an opportunity to extend their auction by giving them some money for the next 90 days. And I'm making more money on those transactions than I ever did in wholesale. And the cool thing is I'm getting better relationships with these agents, and these agents are now coming back to me with more and more of these deals. Every single month, I've got agents going, hey, I got another person, I need your help. Can you get them out of foreclosure? It looks better on the listing when they're not in foreclosure. So the agent loves it. Now, here's the other thing that I do as a very strategic move. I go, hey, Joy, what I want you to do is when we get you a car, before we hand the keys over to the car or in the car, I want you to leave an amazing review for Devontae. It needs to be like 4 paragraphs of how Devontae on Google reviews is like, and you can do it anonymous. And I want you to say, I was in foreclosure. Nobody else could help me. I had other people lowball cash offer me. I had this, and this, but Devontae brought solutions to the table that nobody else had access to. This guy is one of a kind. He saved my situation, put $150,000 extra in my pocket. This guy's amazing. Joy's like, I will do that right now. So again, I watch cash wholesalers that are just lowballing and using one golf club in their bag, their little putter, just putting around and doing these cash offers with people. Meanwhile, there's so many other ways to make money, and more importantly, help way more people in the process. I helped Joy more than anybody else could. I helped Devontae more than anybody else could. And I walk away going, man, I made more money than I would have if I just did a cash wholesale deal. Okay. I got another story. I could go you guys want me to do another story? It's really gangster. It's kind of cool. This one's a little bit more risky than the other one. You want to hear? It'll be 5 minutes. I'll tell the story fast. Maybe we could do some Q&A.
Let's do it.
Cool. So one of the other deals that I did out of this structure, out of those calls I did with those, the newbies, okay, all these newbies on my team, is I get a hold of an agent. Okay. So here's the seller in a house. They're 90 days plus on the market, and they have obviously an agent that's listing the property. We send over an LOI to this agent, and we say, hey, letter of intent, cash offer, blah, 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 blah. Cool. I get on the call with this agent, and the agent says to me, this is her first word she says to me. So she's on the phone with me. She says, I'm offended by your cash offer. She sounds like Cruella DeVille. I'm offended by your cash offer. So here's what I say. Anytime I run into those situations, I go, perfect. So this deal might not work for us. However, there's 2 smart adults on a phone call right now. Why don't we figure out how do we make money together? Even if it's not this house. Can I tell you other things I do that you could potentially give to your other clients? She's like, oh, sure. Right? So this agent, she says, what do you do? And I told her about the deal I just did with Joy, like 5 calls before. I go, let me tell you about how I just helped this seller, Joy, Devontae, blah, blah, blah. I tell her this like 30-second story about that. And I go, so yeah, I do interesting loans. You know, I even told her, I go, put me in your phone as Pace the weirdo. And I want you to, like, anytime you run into a weird scenario, I'm the guy. Just tell all your friends you got a weirdo. Like, oh, people got plumbers, they got contractors, you got a weirdo. And I'm making her laugh, right? So I got Cruella DeVille from going from, I'm offended, to now I've got her laughing. Cool. So she says, oh my gosh, so you'll do like really weird loans? I go, yeah. She goes, all right, so I've got a client. His name is Tim. So Tim, here's a guy, his name is Seller. Let's just call him Sam because this guy must be rich, okay? The seller sells a house to a guy named Tim. Sadly, I use the name Tim for a lot of times for like names, even when I can't remember the seller's name. But this guy's name actually is Tim. So I get a lot of people that are in my community, they go, you buy a lot of houses from a lot of Tims. I'm like, yes, I know. But this is actually a Tim, okay? So Tim buys this house from Sam, and he buys it on seller finance. It's a couple years ago. It's about 3 years and 4 months ago. Why is that such a specific number? Because I'll tell you in just a second. So he buys it on seller finance. The terms are this. The seller says, I want my number of $350,000. I want this high number of 350, but I will seller finance to you, but I want 3-year balloon. I want all my money back in 3 years. You have to refinance me or you have to sell this house in 3 years. Okay. For those of you guys that have kids, you realize how fast life goes, right? You have a baby, like I got a baby that's 9 months now. I'm like, damn, I remember being in the hospital 14 minutes ago when that baby popped out. What the freak? Time is going by fast. So I got a 17-year-old who's flying planes now and getting ready to be an airline pilot. I used to change that dude's diaper. Time goes by so fast. So what happens with Tim is Tim goes 3 years without doing a damn thing about selling this house or refinancing. He doesn't do anything. Doesn't fix his credit, doesn't make more money, doesn't do anything. He goes, oh crap, 3 years is up. So he goes back to Sam, the seller, and goes, dude, can I get another 4-month, 3-month extension somewhere in there? Sam, the seller, says, yes, I'll give you a 3-month extension on this deal. You got 3 months. Tim starts running into these little things called brick walls, keeps running into these things. Nope. Keeps getting no. He can't get a loan, Why? Because he owns a roofing company. Okay, he owns a roofing company, claims $0 on his taxes. He's going through the wrong lenders to do this, right? There's lenders that will do no docs, no stated income. There's lenders that do this stuff, but he's just not privy, right? He's not like you guys. He's not like me. He owns a roofing company. He makes a lot of money. Cool. So Tim keeps running the situations, and what he does is he goes to his agent. This is Cruella DeVille. Remember, the lady said, I'm offended. So he goes to Cruella DeVille and he says, hey, will you list the property for me? She says, yes, I'd love to list the property. But Tim keeps kicking the can down the road, not meeting with her. And then he tells her, he goes, I'm not going to have you list the property more. I've changed my mind. I have to do anything in my power to keep this house. Well, here's what happens. You guys remember Sam, that guy? He's kind of a jerk, a rich guy. Sam says, I'm going to go and see what this house is worth. Guess what this house is worth now? It's worth $650. Do you think Sam is going to give Tim another 3-month extension, or is Sam going to go, yeah, I'm foreclosing on that house. Give me my house back. So that's what happens. Sam puts Tim into foreclosure, saying you've gone past your balloon. I'm now going to take the house back. Crap. Okay. So Tim gets introduced to me through Cruella DeVille. Cruella DeVille, who I'm on the phone with, she told me the story. She says, hey, maybe you can help Tim out. Cool. So I get on the phone with Tim right there. I'll give you guys this recording too. So I get on the phone with Tim and I go, hey, Tim, here's how I think I can help you. Tell me what's going on. Here's a story. He tells me, I keep asking questions. I know you guys cannot imagine a world where I shut my mouth and listen to people because obviously I'm presenting right now, but I actually do a pretty good job of shutting my mouth and saying, here's what I am and here's what I do and da-da-da-da-da. So I told Tim, I go, here's what I'll do, Tim. I will buy your house from you at $350,000. And I will get a DSCR loan. Your job, my friend, is I'm going to give you 6 months. Now, is he going to be able to execute in 6 months? Probably not. I know the whole story. It's a long story. You guys might be able to ask some questions here in a second if I shut my damn mouth. But Tim, your job is to buy this house back from me at $450,000 in 6 months. And what I want from you, my friend, is I want, when I fund this deal, because you've got, you're getting foreclosed on in December, I've got to close on this thing in November. I want a $20,000, what I call a success fee up front. And people are like, what's a success fee? Well, it's this thing that I just pulled out of my butt. And I was like, okay, I successfully funded your deal. Pay me $20,000. Okay. It's what lenders call points. Okay. I didn't do it points. I just go, what do I want? What makes it worth my time? 20 grand. All right, cool. Tim, do you have 20 grand? Yes, I do have 20 grand. I have 50 grand. I was like, oh, you shouldn't have told me that, Tim. Now I got him to laugh, and he goes, okay, cool. So 20 grand. I go, here's what you're going to do. You're going to cover my transaction coordinator. You're going to cover any of my lending fees. You're going to cover closing costs. And you're going to give me a success fee of $20,000. He's like, done. And I got to buy it back from you at 450. Does the 20 grand go off the 450? No, it doesn't. Okay, great. So I'm giving you 20 grand. I'm buying it back from 450. I go, yeah, if it's not a good deal for you, it's not a good deal for you. So we are closing next week already on the DSCR loan. We moved quick. It's about 2 weeks ago. I'm closing we're closing in like 12, 13 days. He's going to lease the property back from me. His lease amount is he's paying the DSCR loan. Okay. What was great is he paid the DSCR he paid the DSCR payments through my lease 6 months ahead of time. So this is kind of cool. He took the other 30 grand out of what he has. He front loaded the 6 months of payments. DSCR lender was happy with that. They approved the loan. I'm good for 6 months. I don't have to worry about him making payments or not making payments. Okay. He's a tenant now. Doesn't own the property. He's a tenant. So if he doesn't make the payments, he doesn't execute, what happens is I can evict him and sell the house for $650. I don't want to do that, of course. Now, of course, I've got other collateral. He's got a boat. He's got 3 acres up in Seattle that he has like $200,000 in value on. I don't care about those. I just want to get my money. Now, what he's doing as well is, so he's going to buy the house from me at $450. If it goes every month that it goes past the 6 months, we're adding $25,000 to the purchase price. So every month, and it will cap out at 12 months. And at that point, I just evict him and get him out. Now, here's the cool thing. He's got a bunch of cash. Okay. But it's locked up in a couple of things. So he's like, what I'll do is I'll probably just pay you off cash. He's like, that's the thing I was trying to get Tim to do, or trying to get Sam to do, is just give me a couple more months to pull my money out of my other deals. And sure enough, he does have assets that are sellable, and he's currently selling them. And he's going to pull that cash out. And he's like, worst case scenario, if I can't get a loan, I'll just pay you off. I go, okay, cool. No problem. So we leveraged all his other deals. And it was cool being able to get an agent on the phone that was offended by my cash offer to get referred over to this guy, Tim, to get him funded, save him from foreclosure. And I'll make about 120 minimum, probably closer to like $150,000 on buying the house from the guy and reselling it back to him. Kind of a cool little structure. Now, are you going to run into these every day? No, you'll probably run into 2 or 3 of these a month, but you have to open up your mouth and ask that question. So as you guys are talking to agents, instead of wasting your time on the call when they're like, oh, that's a lowball cash offer, I don't like you wholesalers, you just go, oh, cool. That's not the only thing I do. In fact, that's probably the smallest thing I do. And I'm glad that offensive offer got us on the phone, because there's other ways we can make money together. And that's how I transition the conversation and make money on all sorts of different aspects. So I could talk for 5 more hours, but maybe
26 minutes later, there's Pace's 5-minute story. Good job, Pace. That was faster than I thought.
Did you time it?
I lost some money on you because I said it was going to take 30 minutes. No, I didn't
good.
time it. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It was definitely over 5 minutes.
Okay, sorry.
I love stories though, Pace. So that was a great story. Let's just take maybe 1 or 2 quick questions, and then we got to wrap it up. But it was great having you on. And if anybody doesn't know Pace, throw in the chat or something how to get in contact with your.
Just my YouTube channel. YouTube channel is the best way to do. All free, and I'm trying to do more content than anybody else on the planet around creative finance, and I definitely beat everybody else. Nobody else wants to touch it because it's, I guess not that fun, but I'm obsessed with it. So YouTube channel is always a good place to go.
And then shoot him a message on Instagram. I know you answer them personally in the mornings and have a little help, but shoot him a message on Instagram. He'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Questions? Anybody got questions? Who?
Pace, I have a quick question for you. How do you?
Suzanne, yes, the
I know.
smartest person I've met this whole year.
I just have a quick one because I feel like other people are probably wondering, how do you, like that first deal, you had to pull 40K from somewhere. Where does that come from? Is it your money, private money?
Private money, always
Yeah.
private money. If you guys need private money, DM me. I'll give you a list. Every year, or not every year, every month, I accumulated another 150 private money lenders. I've got this really great way of finding private money lenders, and every month I'll release a new list to people. About 150 people, totaling anywhere between $10 to $15 million. Private individuals that have anywhere between $50,000 up to $2 million is what I've seen, and they're all people saying, "Hey, Pace, I want to fund your audience's deals. Please put my name out there." So just DM me, say lender, and I'll hook you up.
Perfect. Blake, what do you got?
I want to know how I could go about getting deals like that funded. Would you do that through the Gator community, or do you find people?
Blake, just send me a message. I'll fund all of those deals for you. Let's partner on all of them.
Beautiful. I got some stuff I'm looking at that might be perfect for that.
Good to see you, Blake.
Hey, you as well.
Suzanne and Rachel do more intelligent loans that are safer. Suzanne is probably cringing at the type of loans I'm doing. But this is why I was like, you guys need to have a mastermind. I need to collaborate with other lenders. Like, I'm doing all sorts of weird stuff, and I want to learn from you guys and show you what I'm doing and see if there's holes in what I'm doing and whatnot. So,
One of these days, it's on my list.
you guys literally don't have a mastermind?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Sam, get these girls, collab with them and do a JV on a private money lending or a lending mastermind. Like, what the freak?
I
Pace.
have names of who I'd want.
Pace, do you think for
I just
one
need to do that.
second that either of those girls listen to anything that I
No.
say?
No.
Okay.
It's a really great point.
Yeah.
I just
wanted
can't
to-
do anything halfway. Brian has always insisted you have to do things good. So I just have to put the time into it.
I'm like, where's the link? Let me sign up. I literally texted Rachel over 3-4 months of like, when can I join the mastermind? How do I get into the mastermind? What's going on? Da, 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 da. Just to be told, sorry, you're not allowed to join any mastermind we have going on. So yeah, the lending stuff is great. I've got a deal. I funded a really weird deal today. A guy who has a lender that has a commitment from the lender. I've talked to the lender, but the lender's in Florida, and with all the tornadoes, wasn't able to fund the deal. Their whole office and shop was closed. And the guy's got payroll and equipment and this, that, and the other. And he's got all these things that he committed on this big pipeline project in Pennsylvania. And so somebody, another Corella DeVille, another agent that hated me like 2 years ago, she's like, "Hey, I've got another weird loan." I go, "Cool, put me in touch." Talk to the guy, his name's Dan. And we funded him last Friday. So just like 4 or 5 days ago. And then I'm getting paid back on Tuesday. And I'm secured and all that kind of stuff. I gave him $1 million to liquidate all of his issues and liabilities and all that kind of stuff that were supposed to be paid for by the lender. Lender's like, "Yeah, we didn't have any power. We didn't have this. We didn't have internet. We had nothing. We couldn't do anything." And we're back on track. Here we are. Okay, cool. Sounds great. And I will get $1.35 million on Tuesday next week. I'll make $350,000 in 9 days.
Wow.
Insane. Now,
That's a great day.
that's a great day for Uncle Sam. Right? It's like, then I got other stuff. I'm buying real estate. So I'm like, okay, I made a bunch of money on that. I don't want to pay that to Uncle Sam. I got to buy real estate, depreciate all the things. So if you guys don't have questions, I just want to say I appreciate you guys for letting me come in here and hang out. Anytime you guys want me to come in and talk about deals I'm doing and creative weird things, please let me know. If you guys have questions, I'm always here, and DM me. Anytime you have a question, DM me. I'm always here.
Your stories were great, Pace. I really appreciate you jumping on for just a little bit. Anybody got one last question? Otherwise, we'll call it good for today.
Here's what I would do for the takeaway, guys. Here's
I
the
have a
takeaway. Okay. So think about this. If I want to take away, what do I do with this information? What I would do is I would go to all the wholesalers I possibly can that are working the foreclosures. And I would say, "Hey, if you want to double your conversions, let me know. I'll show you how to help these people stay in the house longer without you having to buy the house. And you'll make as much money, if not more money. Just come and collaborate with me. You have a seller who wants to stay in the house, they're in a bad situation. Let me in that transaction." So they're doing all the work. They're cold calling. They're doing the direct mail. They're doing the PPC. They're doing all the things. You get a list of 10, 15 wholesalers that are working foreclosures, doesn't matter the state, you have a full-blown business. And then you've got people like me or other private money lenders that'll fund those types of transactions. You make a ton of money. Blake says, my takeaway is I need to stop wholesaling and just have you finance. Yeah, why not? I'll finance your
And
stuff. Let's go.
Pace, real quick. I didn't know your Cruella de Vil story, but you're listed as weirdo in my phone too, and I didn't even
Hell
know that.
yeah. Yeah. That's another takeaway too. Like, be unique when you're talking to these agents, and don't just say, oh, I'm a cash investor. Like, they talk to enough of those. Like, how can you stand out? How can you be a little bit different? Say, I'm the weirdo. You have a weird scenario, think of me. You have a weird problem, think of me. Right. And not all the money, but a lot of money I've made in my career has been when I didn't have the solution, but I had the problem. Here's what I mean by that. Last thing I'll say. When I was a handyman, 22, 23 years old, just starting my construction business, I was finding work on Craigslist. I would go on Craigslist, I'd find work, pretty obvious stuff, right? And I get a call from a guy, his name is Doug. And he goes, hey, my name is Doug. I work for a company called Invitation Homes. I had no idea who Invitation Homes was. And this was before Invitation Homes was bought out by BlackRock. But he says, I need somebody to paint 15 houses a week. I was like, I'm just one guy. Like, I'm not the right fit. He says, this is what he says to me. Are you in the business of saying no? Oh my gosh, that guy might as well just punch me through the freaking phone right in the face. Are you in the business of saying no? I go, oh, damn. Dad? You know, I was like, who is this person? And he says, last time I checked, you made an ad saying you can paint houses. So I suggest, you want to make a lot of money, I suggest you figure out how to say yes to a guy like me. I was like, okay, damn. So he gave me a problem, and he punched me in the face by saying, you're not in the business of saying no. You don't make money by saying no. You make money by saying yes. Now, Suzanne has a different personality than me. She's like, yeah, but I keep my money by saying no. I get that. I get that. We're not talking about lending in this situation. We're talking about painting. So I was at a paint shop. You guys don't have these paint shops in St. Louis, but you guys have, I'm sure, Sherwin-Williams, and you have, you know, these companies, right? In Arizona, we have something called Dunn Edwards. And I was at Dunn Edwards as a handyman, and I go to the front desk and I go, who's the biggest painter? Who's the person that buys the most paint from you? They go, oh, this is a company called Luxor. Can you give me their number? Yeah, here you go. Boom. I call Luxor, and I get a hold of the owner, and I go, hey, here's the situation. This guy said this. He can paint 15 houses a week. He goes, okay, if that's real, I'll do all the houses. What do you want? And I go, oh, just pay me a referral fee. I'll take $5,000. He goes, no. I'm going to teach you a lesson. You need to make $300 or $400 on every house, and I will make sure that you learn how to do this business. I was like, what the freak? Are you kidding me? I got so lucky. I did 15 to 20 houses every single week for Invitation Homes and made $300 to $400 on every single house, arbitraging to somebody else for 4 freaking years. I was making like 30 grand a month because Doug on the phone says, are you in the business of saying no? You better figure out how to say yes. And so when I'm on the phone with agents now, I have that same attitude. It's like, I'm not going to let this be a no. I'm going to figure out what is the way we can make money. And now you present a problem to me. Here's what's great. I get to go have the exercise of going to Dunn Edwards and saying, who's the biggest painter? And that's how I make a ton of money. So Casey was like, mind blown. You needed me to stay an extra 5 minutes and outstay my welcome. You needed that today.
All right, Pace, next time you
Rachel,
come in town, we'll do another meetup. How's that sound?
Please. Rachel, Suzanne, you are my heroes. Sam, I adore you. You're freaking awesome. Very few people in the industry are like you. Brian, thank you so much, bro. So grateful to be here. And anytime you guys ever need anything, please let me know. I'm always here.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us, Pace, and everyone be sure to reach out to him, and he's got a lot of great content out there. So it is super beneficial, but I will wrap up the call real quick.
Okay. See you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, Pace. So everyone, just so you guys know, we got our meetup tomorrow. Brian is talking. We're going to have a taco truck. We're going to have awesome networking. So be sure to get there early. Taco truck will start around 5:45 or 6. Get the meeting going at 6:30. So it's going to be an awesome night. Also, if you guys are looking to continue to grow your vendor team, Sam with Faster Freedom, I know he's going to talk more tomorrow at the club, but be sure to reach out to him if you guys want to know more about that deal pilot that he's going to show off. So, all right. Well, we will see you tomorrow or next Wednesday if you guys can't be there tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.